Few filmmakers had as much influence on young audiences in the 1980s as John Hughes. He directed, produced, and wrote some of the most memorable teen movies of all time. In doing so, he helped launch the careers of many young actors, such as Matthew Broderick, Joan and John Cusack, and Molly Ringwald. Besides starring talented young actors, one characteristic of Hughes' films that made them so appealing to young people was the use of pop music within the films. Hughes used diegetic sound that exists within the story and scope of the film, rather than strictly using background music for his soundtrack. We can see an example of this in the opening scene of Some Kind of Wonderful. The soundtrack begins with the character Watts practicing her drums, and then transitions into non-diegetic sound. With the use of diegetic sound is the nod to the music video, which was growing in popularity due to the recent launch of MTV in 1981. Movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Breakfast Club, and Pretty in Pink contained lengthy breakout song and dance scenes.
But it's all so easy. All you gotta do is try. All you gotta do is, man, hold her where you want her. Squeeze her, don't tease her, never leave her. Get to her, drop, the fine little nigga.
These scenes were not directly related to the story, but added to the attractiveness of the films for teen audiences.
They bought it.
Hughes captured the attention of his audience not only by catchy musical numbers, but also by breaking the barrier that separates the audience from the film, known as the fourth wall. In many of Hughes' films, different characters acknowledge the camera is present.
How could I possibly be expected to handle school in a day like this?
In some cases by a quick glance, and in others by having a conversation with the camera. Hughes' film that is most famous for this is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. These characteristics, along with the relatable subject matter, is what captured audiences in the 1980s, and still remains to capture them today, making John Hughes a filmmaker we won't soon forget.
Don't